Hi everyone, it is January 8th today, well January 9th because I'm recording this right now at about 2 a.m. But I have just finished listening to what I think is the most anticipated album of my year personally. I know it's personal, I know we can't technically make these big sweeping claims about albums that are released with like 0 views by someone who's never made an album before. But I honestly think Calvin Holler's new album, his first album, his debut, it shows a lot of promise, honestly. It's called Factors of Me, and I think that for someone who has never been producing music before, for someone who has relatively very little experience in music in general, I think Calvin knocked it out of the park in this. It certainly needs a bit of polish, it certainly needs a bit of instrumental help, but the lyricism is there, honestly. I think that it's got a lot of potential as an album, and it just being sort of a lot of demo tracks right now does not take away credibility from how, in my mind, at least, I think, how much potential it has.
So long, Mrs. Bacon, and so long, your nothing cat. The grass was too green, the sky too blue, and I just couldn't live with that.
Okay, so the album opens up on what I think is actually a very, very strong note with So Long, Mrs. Bacon. I mean, there's obviously a bias here knowing, like, the knowledge or the lore behind a lot of these songs, but I think So Long, Mrs. Bacon, honestly, from a musical and from a lyrical perspective, comes out pretty strong. I feel like the meaning behind it is obviously very convoluted depending on it. I think it's a personal track depending on how you view it. I know how it's viewed by its creator, but it is honestly, it holds a lot of musical merit. I think that the chorus is very, very catchy, which I think you will find is a great consistency throughout this album. A lot of the choruses have these nice sweeping chords that are actually pretty catchy, and I found myself, right, even after I listened to this album, I got up and I went to the bathroom. I felt myself humming like that's great. Honestly, that is great. I really like this. I'm going to give it, honestly, and this is obviously all based on my own opinion, and knowing that this is basically an unfinished album. This is kind of unpolished as well. I'm giving this, in my personal rating, a 7.5 out of 10. I think that it's got a catchy chorus. I think that some of the parts in between could kind of be mitigated, but made more interesting, maybe. There could be a bridge, but I honestly think that it's one of the stronger tracks to the album and a great, great opening song.
I said, screw my friends, they're wrong, I'm gonna write her a song. I'd kill for her to break my heart.
So following up the track, So Long, Mrs. Bacon, and second now on the album track list is In Like. Now, I have a lot of mixed feelings about this song personally. I think that the lyricism is quite great. I think that it's got a lot of charm to it when you listen to the lyrics or you read the lyrics alone. I'm not as much of a fan of the musical part. It doesn't have a strong chorus like a lot of the rest of the songs on the album do, and I feel like that distinct lack, right, that lack, it's a lot, reminds me of Everything Will Be Alright in the End by Weezer. A lot of the songs there didn't have very strong choruses, and that's why it felt so anti-Weezer, right? It felt like it wasn't really Weezer anymore. That is somewhat what I get from In Like. Personally, I like the story of it. I like the lyrics of it. I want to like the song as a whole. I think the concept of it is great. I think In Like is also a very clever title. I just kind of feel like it lets down slightly compared to the other songs in its direct musical parts. I forgot to say this before, but honestly, I think I put it in about a 5.5 on the scale. I want to like it a lot, but I just can't find myself getting into it that much.
Turn out my star. Oh, you can say see you soon. Come on, just sting me with the truth. Much more harm can be done by the truth. the modern youth.
So, the next song on the album is called See You Soon, and honestly, this one exemplifies in my mind what makes this album special, to me at least. Other than the fact that it's a personal album that is made by someone who's close to me, I think that See You Soon exemplifies what is this album about. This album obviously takes very heavy inspiration from Weezer. I hate to say it, but I feel like it reminds me slightly of They Might Be Giants, and a tiny bit out of Oingo Boingo, but slightly just because of the lyrics. You'll see later. You'll see later why. But I think that this song exemplifies that. It's got the Weezer-ish tunes. It's got the strong chorus that I keep talking about. It's a very strong chorus, I think. And then it has this great lyricism that feels very vague, but it feels very motivated. I think that this cements the album as certainly a concept album. It makes it that there is a point behind this. There is a direct motive through the line of these tracks, and it's not just a bunch of jumbled up music for it. I think that this cements this album as something with strong choruses, strong lyricism. It's not as finished as it should be, but honestly, it's charming. And I think See You Soon really exemplifies that.
I'm bleeding out from a paper cut. Don't tell my friends, cause they won't help much. Don't wanna sleep with you, I'll sleep with myself.
Now, on the track after that, I am excited to talk about this song. Yes, it is Paper Cut. In my mind, this is probably my favorite song on the album in its current state. It feels a lot more fully in concept than a lot more of the songs, but it also just feels like it's memorable. It's catchy. I hate to say it, but I like it because it's kind of cheesy and catchy. The hook is very simple. I'm bleeding out from a paper cut. Don't tell my friends, they won't help much. I like that. I really like that. It is a good song. I love to say that. I think that this, honestly, on my scale, which does still account for it being a semi-unfinished song, a bit unpolished, I think this is a 9. I think this is a lot of potential, and I think it is just a strong song in total. It's got great lyricism. It has great musicality. I think it is really easy on the ears, and then, of course, that strong chorus that makes up the core component of the song, it's there. But even the parts that aren't the chorus are very nice to listen to. It's calm. I would like it to have a little more variation. I would like to say that. But in its conceptual form, I think that it is the best and strongest that the album has right now. If I were to recommend one song off of this album to anyone I know, it's going to be Paper Cut. I don't care if they make fun of me for the song being unfinished. I still think it's got a lot of merit to it.
Affection was a myth until God gave us the gift.
And now, after this, we have the Across the Sea of this album in my mind. I think this is definitely the biggest wild card of the album. It is, of course, Just One Touch. Now, the lyrics here, I'd like to say this is ripped straight out of an Oingo Boingo song, or just a really desperate Rivers Cuomo, but this is fun. This is a fun listen. This is fun to read the lyrics. I can sit and read the lyrics for maybe half an hour straight and not get bored. This song has a surprising lot of depth to it for kind of being the semi-joke song of the whole album. I think it's still got that good musicality. It doesn't really have that much of a strong chorus though, which I feel like it's missing that. But if it did have that, it could be one of the best songs on the album, by far. I still believe that Across the Sea is a good song, despite its lyricism, and maybe even including its lyricism. That song could be this song, if it were to have a stronger chorus, right? I just think it should have a little bit more musicality, it should have a little bit more punch, right, when you're not in the chorus, but it should also just go down on that specific album niche. of just having these really good, catchy, like, feel-good choruses. Honestly, I'd like to rate it an 8.
Say, beauty is pain, and pain is what makes us real.
Now for the next track on the album, which I think is kind of divisive, honestly. I think With You could be a really solid song. It's got a solid amount of lyricism, not at the level that I honestly think that the album has been at so far, and with things like Paper Cut and Just One Touch having already played, I feel like this kind of goes slightly weaker than the rest of them, lyric-wise. But I think the acoustic guitar is certainly a choice. I think, I don't want to say that it's necessarily weighing the song down. I don't think it is, but it could really be enunciated with something, right? I, again, know that this album is basically unfinished and is a lot of demos, but I think that there is just something missing there in With You. I don't think it's the worst song on the album. No, not at all. I just think it honestly could use a lot of improvement, which is more than I've said for a couple more of the songs on here. And with stuff like Paper Cut, we can really see that Calvin can do this. If he wants to, he can make these songs really, really well. And relatively well produced for the time that they were made in. I would give this one a solid 6 in my mind.
How to tell your friends to tell their own stories. Don't ask why. I'm always so boring. I'm done waiting on you.
And now from that, which was a relatively low note on the album, I think, we go to, honestly, what I think is potentially, it could be, on the final release, obviously, the best song on the album. I think that Too Soon has so much potential. I know that it's a song about William Howard Taft being dead. I know that it's also a song that has, my only gripe about it, I like the fact that it's a call and response during the verses. Na, 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 na. I didn't think about it. I like that. I think it needs to be more polished so that it sounds better. Other than that, it also the chorus being, I hate to say it, it's been a mantra throughout this entire goddamn video. It's so strong. It's super, super good. Like, I just get up, I think, like, da, da, to tell your own stories. Da, da, da. It's good. It has so much potential. And honestly, the chorus, which is honestly my favorite part of each of these songs on this album, the chorus in my mind is strong. It could be really great. Just make the chorus longer. God, make the chorus the whole goddamn song. I don't even care. This could be the best song on the album. I just want to see this song evolve, honestly. This is the song that I am most excited about. I want to give this an 8.5 out of 10, but know that if this is polished and this is seen and this is responded to in a way that changes the song to make it more focused around that really strong chorus melody that we have. Tell your friends to make your own stories. I love that. That's great. It could be amazing. It could be a 10. Honestly, it is what I think in the album could be a 10.
I've tried my luck, but the well's out of water. Then Mono throws a rock at someone's daughter. Classic monotonous heat.
And now we move on to the song, which is probably another very much like an Oingo Boingo style oddball. It's still got that bass of very Weezer inspiration. It's still got that kind of They Might Be Giants. It's got the scrappiness of They Might Be Giants, in my opinion. But Monotonous He is a fun song. Monotonous He is a fun song to listen to. I wouldn't put it personally within the top 3 of the album, but I would certainly say that it is nice to listen to. It's not a chore to listen to whatsoever. I think that it could definitely be improved with polish, but again, we're saying this about a very unpolished album because that is what it's meant to be. It's kind of meant to be a sort of demo reel just to prove. And I think Calvin honestly made a really fun song here. It's got a lot of lyrical depth, which I very much enjoy going into. I've listened to this song maybe 3 times, just going over the lyrics. It's honestly one of the more interesting lyrical choices on the album. That does really say something, because one of the big strengths of this album is the lyricism. I think Monotonous He is just, in all, there's no other way to describe it. It's just fun. It's fun as a song. What else would you want from a song like Monotonous He, a song with lyrics like that, than it just being a fun song? I would like to put it probably at a 7.5 in my rating.
Dear beloved, I have just one request.
And I know I hate to be this kind of person. I hate to be the kind of person to say this. This album, in all honesty, was good. I think that this album, for what it is good. It has a lot of potential. The final release could really be something. But I think that Love Her is probably, as the outro, the weakest song on the entire discography here. I think that it's got a certain charm to it in its lyricism, but it unfortunately just doesn't really carry on. The singing is a bit offbeat. It only goes into one ear when I'm listening. I was listening with headphones, and I know it's a technical issue and I shouldn't be putting that up with the song. However, I feel like it still really affects the experience. I think that out of all the songs that I am looking forward to find the final version, I don't exactly know about Love Her. I think as an outro, I can understand where it's coming from. I understand what it is as a song. But as the 9th song on this album, the 9th track and the outro, it plays an especially important role that it seems to not necessarily fulfill. I know that it's meant to be a sort of mellow ending to an otherwise very punchy. It's upbeat, even though it's not really singing about a lot of upbeat stuff. And I think it kind of, by mellowing out at the end, I don't know if really that's the correct choice for me. I think that I would have wanted it to punch up specifically and go into a sense where it is just this massive outro, this big celebration of the album, because that's what it is. I mean, it is an album that is especially full of these feel-good sort of songs. These songs that have these catchy tunes, stuff that you could play at a barbecue, or stuff that you can play with your friends or in your car, right? It just doesn't hold the same value to me as the rest of the songs on the track. And I hate to say that, but I think that it's honestly the weakest track. I would have picked something much like a Monotonous He maybe, or I would have picked Too Soon as my inspirations, honestly, if I were to make this the outro. So that was it. That was Factors of Me by Calvin Holler. I think it shows a lot of promise as an album. I think that it shows a lot of talent in its creator. He can really make something good if he just polishes this album up. He maybe takes a little bit of feedback from it. I think that this could become something really, really good. I think it's got a lot of promise. I think it has a lot of ability involved. And I think that it has a lot of strengths in the way that Holler reimagines these old Weezer choruses, because everybody remembers, right? Everybody remembers. We all know Say It Ain't So. We all know things like every song in Pinkerton has an insane chorus. You can't prove otherwise. I think things like The Good Life, even things like Buddy Holly, some of their most prolific work is echoed in Calvin's discography here, and I think that he has a lot of talent. There's some songs where it falters somewhat, but there is no merit in not experimenting, and I appreciate that he did experiment in this album. I'm very glad that he did, actually, because it did show a lot of strengths and weaknesses, but particularly, I'm glad to say that Calvin Holler's Factors of Me has shown an overwhelming, amount of talent, and has shown an overwhelming, absolutely overwhelming amount of promise for the future. I am so excited to see where this album goes, and I'm happy how it is right now. I just want to see more, honestly. Also, Calvin, if you're watching this, I'm going to beat your juggling records.
I'm going to beat them again. Even Nicholas Kaiser can't stop me. You can't
Stop me either. You know that? I'm the best juggler this goddamn side of the motherfucking Atlantic Ocean. I am not letting Nicholas Kaiser or you beat me. I am John Juggling.